Hello everyone, welcome to Sharmit. In this session, we are going to discuss about another very important add block directive of Angular, that is @for directive. Okay. Why I am calling it this directive as add block? Because we all know that these additional directives are applicable only for the Angular version 17 plus. Okay, so if you are using the Angular version more than 17 plus, then in that case you can utilize these add block directives. Remember one thing, you can also use the traditional approach ngFor and ngIf, that is also fine, but in case if you want to adopt the new thing which is always recommended, so in that case you can utilize @for directive. Clear? So I hope now this point is clear that why we are learning this directive, and by the end of the session we will be discussing like how @for directive works and what are the benefits of using it, why it is comparatively easy and useful as compared to ngFor directive. Okay, so these all things we are going to discuss today in this session. But before we proceed further, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released sessions first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow them sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic, because for timing we are just mainly focusing on how to use @for directive. Clear? Alright, so now we are going to proceed in the very similar way. Firstly, I'll tell you the requirement. We will discuss like whether any module is needed or not. If not, then that is also one of the benefit of @for, right? So that we will discuss. Then we will create one scenario, and for that scenario we will create one data like array of objects, and on the basis of that data we will perform one example through from scratch, and I'll walk you through each and every line of the code to understand and to demonstrate the concept of @for. Clear? Alright, so let's get started. Firstly, we will go to app.component.ts file. Now in this ts file you can see we have one section for importing the module. But in case of block directives like @if, @for, in these situations there is no need to import any module. So this is one of the best benefit you can say about this block directives, that it is not recommended, in fact it is not needed. It is not needed to import any directives that is used for. It is not needed to import any module to use any directive. Clear? So this is the one thing. Second thing, here whenever you want to use if directive, for directive, so you can simply use @for, @if, and it will work. Okay, so let's go and write the scenario. So scenario is like this. Suppose we have one user data stored in one array of object like user ID, username, and we want to print one by one in a loop manner. So for that, what we will do, we will simply create one object here. So let's create the array of object. So I'll give name as user data, then equal, then curly braces. In this curly braces we can simply put the name. We can create the object. For example, here I will put name, and in this name we will write, we need to put it in a this way. Okay, and let me create it as an array of object, right? We made it as a object. That is not a good thing. Yes, so in this way you need to create it. To make it simple for you, let me expand the array square bracket first so that you can see how it is created. Perfect. Now here you can write name. In this name you can assign any name, and prior to this name let's add ID as well. So we can write user ID colon, and we are assigning the value as 10. Likewise we can make it as username, and remember these all things are case sensitive, so whatever you are writing here, make sure to use it in a same case. Then curly braces again. Here we will write user ID colon 20 comma user name, then colon, and here we will put the name which is Sharmit. then comma, then we will put another example where we will write user ID as 30, comma, and here username colon, and here we will put Vishal, for example. Okay, so this is the data that we have, where we stored user ID 10, 20, 30 and username Amit, Sharmit, Vishal. Now the requirement is that we want to iterate through each and every element of this object, and we want it to print either name or ID, or maybe the both. Okay, so let's see how we will do this with the help of ngFor directive. So let's go to app.component.html file. Here you can see one heading is already coming, Angular directive demo by Sharmit. So now we can write here h2, and in this h2 we will write another heading. So let's say for directive, or maybe we can write add block, or we can write simply for directive in Angular 17 plus. Why I'm mentioning it here? So that you can remember it, that this directive, this for block is only applicable for the Angular version more than 17 plus. Clear? Perfect. Now after this, what we are going to do, we are going to use the ngFor directive. So we will simply write here ngFor, then parenthesis, then a curly braces. In this curly braces, in this parenthesis we will write the condition. So for example, user of user data. Okay, maybe we are skipping anything, not okay. After that you need to write track, and in this track we will write the track ID, like from which thing you want to track the things. Okay, so for that you just need to simply write here, let's say user dot user ID. So let me check what we have declared here, user data. Perfect. So here we will write @for user of user data, then semicolon track user dot user ID, then parenthesis, and then this curly braces. So what error we are getting here? Must match a button user of user. Okay, something is wrong here. Let me check. Here we will write user of user data. Okay, and here let's make it as capital U, user of user data. Perfect. Okay, so now you can see user of user data tracked by user of user ID, and now you can simply use div or maybe whatever you want to use to print the data. So let's say I want to print the IDs only. So what I can do, I can write here user dot user ID. Perfect. Let's run the application, and the serve -- open, enter. It will take few seconds and then it will open the application for us. So now here you can see we have got the values as a loop 10, 20, 30. Likewise, if you want to print the name, you can change it with name, username, not name, user dot username. Save it, and now you can see Amit, Sharmit, Vishal. In case if you want to print both things, so what you can do, you can write here user ID, then here you will put maybe hyphen, then curly braces again and again, means 2 times, and then we will write here user dot user name. Perfect. Now save it, and you can see 10 is Amit, 20 is for Sharmit, 30 is for Vishal. So this is how we can create an example using ngFor block directive, which will, this is a structural directive for sure, but this is a updated version which comes after Angular 17 plus. So now the question comes, like, which approach you are supposed to use. So you can use any approach, it is up to you, but it is always recommended to adopt the modernized thing. We all know that after 17 plus version this @ block is introduced, so always make sure that you know about this concept. Although, like, let's say if your client is working with the traditional directives ngFor and all, that is fine, you can consider that. But in case if you are the one who is going to select the approach, so in that case you should always select this @for. Okay, So yeah, I hope this session is clear to all of you. In the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.